Well, welcome to today's episode. We are here talking about leadership in action with Cassandra Taggart here in Anchorage today, our live guest, and this is going to be a great conversation. Charlie and I have had a little bit of time to get to know her, and this is just something that you don't want to miss. So
lots of nuggets.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to the Raise Up Mindset podcast with your hosts, Charlie and Athena Grimm.
So my old business partner to the BAC start is Brent, and he owns Nova Property Management.
Brent.
Yeah, So Brent Sanders.
Yeah,
so
he manages a lot of his own stuff and for the public as well. We're good friends, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his brother-in-law does Res, which is Eric.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does the Res Real Estate Solutions, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. We're
Intertwined.
we're
I remember
intertwined.
when we met Eric before.
Technically, we're competitors, but
yeah.
we don't play mean.
Oh, good.
Not
good.
the three of us.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of work going around all the way between that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody kind of has Brent has his little like his little niche area. And,
He does.
Yeah, and I told him, that area drive me nuts. But
I don't play in his niche.
No, and he's got a great niche. I mean, Ed his dad, Sanders was really good at that, and he really, they dominated that market over there, and so he's done very well. So I talk to Brent every day almost. So
yeah, it's we're similar in the sense that we're both managing for like the landlord market. It's just the market that he does versus the market that I do is slightly different in the sense that I have association management. He doesn't. I have. I am similar to him in the sense that the team will manage the stuff we own, just like Ed and Brent. They manage the stuff they own. Same with Eric. They they're more of multifamilies. Eric is. Whereas Brent has really fine-tuned the what I like to call the C-class market, and then mine is more like houses and townhomes, more so than his.
Sure.
Yeah.
And fourplex, duplex, triplex, sixplex.
Yeah. And then his maintenance company is inside the company.
Sure.
Mine is separate.
So
it's open to the public.
She subs, yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, same thing we do. We have rental properties too. We have STR, short-term rentals. We do more short-term rentals than we do anything else.
Short-term rentals is similar, where you have to have like the cleaning wing and the maintenance wing somehow supporting of the day-to-day operations of it, because that's more the operations is that group.
Yes.
Yeah. And the systems and the setups and the teams around it has to accommodate to make it go.
Yes, we're very lucky. Our house cleaning company has been very, very good, and we have some very large properties. We have a 5,200 square foot house, a 3,800 place, and 3,000 square foot. So they can usually get us in the same days that we have them check out, and then have a laundry service that takes care of all the laundry for it, and then just the person goes and does all the QC afterwards.
It's good that you got that, because a lot of Airbnbs are struggling because they can't afford management or they don't know business enough to set up the systems all the way. So they're just doing it themselves in between the kid errands,
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they're just really doing a lot of volunteer work, is what I like to call it.
Well, because
and that's okay.
They're not counting in those hours on their ROI. Yeah,
Yes.
I know. We talked to people about that too.
It's like, no, you need to treat it like a business, or you're just getting tired.
You just get yourself a job. Yeah.
And I think it's so cute when he says that, well, we're just really lucky. Nothing that we do is luck. It is
I hate that word.
A very
fortunate. Let me say that. We're fortunate.
of intentionality that goes into like setting up systems, and we have automations in play and a team behind us that it's not luck. This is the plan, this is the structure, and it executes. And when we can automate it in this realm of rental stuff, like there's so much to automate in the rental business that just wasn't a thing 30 years ago, where people are having to like meet you with the lease. And then, I don't even know that background checks for some of the maybe the larger companies, they were doing those background checks, but really it was like you got ran through the check cashing system or, something like that, where now we've got rating systems and we've got all of this data that we can go, oh, actually, you are somebody that would be happy to like invite you over.
Yeah, the short term is a lot different. Having those things, you get instantaneously reports and things that are going on. So gives you ideas and helps if you want to rent to that person or do that, or if they meet your criteria.
And for us, our niche has been groups. So that's an area where there's not a lot, and we've kind of found that little sweet spot of renting to groups and teams. But it's a group that's coming to visit. They're not having family barbecues and having parties and all of that. It's a specific, we all need a place to stay. We've got these plans going on. We're here to visit, and then we're leaving.
Yeah. Do you guys happen to know Kelly White? She has a bunch of Airbnbs. Hers is more catering towards the niche of like a bunch of like a group of people are coming into town for a big funeral and they're wanting to stay at the same house while they're facilitating everything around it. Or weddings and, like big family type things. And that's a lot of what she has. And that's been her niche, and she's done pretty good at it. But of course, her systems are designed to also plug in catering, also plug in, all the pieces around that kind of environment, which makes that one work.
Sure.
But there's tons. You guys probably know Justin Milletti, because he does a lot of the Airbnb management side as well as him owning several. And he's got a different system than a lot of people too.
Yeah.
So it's a different market. Something you might not know that Amy knows is I actually created a club called the Landlord's Almanac, and it's where all the different types of landlords come. I got assisted living landlords in there, Airbnb landlords, all kinds of different Airbnbs, long-term, short-term, multifamily, big housing providers like the Cook Inlets of the world and stuff like that, that come to this group, and we do classes and events as a way to spread the knowledge and spread the word. Because we are the last state that haven't made a housing community training group, actually.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was actually just in meetings all this morning with the fire issue, talking with a group of people of how we're going to organize it to get it to launch more.
What the fire issue? Tell me what the fire issue is.
I'm in charge of the complex that caught on fire, the 21-unit condos over in West Anchorage.
Oh, it just happened the other night. Yeah, I saw that fire.
Yeah, and so I went ahead and took charge on that one because my team hasn't had enough fire experience underneath them to manage it. So that keeps making me late right now, because you'll be on the phone with somebody that's grieving at the moment.
Sure.
Yes.
Because it's ashes.
So what's that look like for you? What is that? What's your team going to do there?
On that deal, I'm having to mix. So there's 3 layers. You've got the insurance layers that you're having to mix because it's the master policy plus the individual policies. So I have 22 insurance adjusters I'm having to work with. And then, of course, you've got the people guiding them through, okay, now we got to remove whatever contents is left. And then you got to move them from short-term housing to long-term housing. Then you got to move them into staying there for a year and replace their contents. And then I got to go work with a builder on the phases of the building. So you've got the demo phase, you've got the investigation phase, the demo phase, and the rebuild phase, and then the CO phase, and moving everyone back in, because then you got to deal with the AWW, Muni, all those.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is one heck of a project that you're about to undertake.
It's going to take, if I would have hired like the normal guys in this town, it would probably take about 2 years to finish, but I'm probably going to be on track to finish it in 12 to 16 months and be done.
So would you hire somebody from the lower 48 then and do this, or
No.
just when you said local guys? So then what? Tell me is
Local
your own
guys.
team? Your own, yeah, okay.
Some of it's my team, some of it's other teams. It's piecing whoever has capacity and the right constraints to push it in. So like, for instance, the muck out's going to be a 3-part team. So 3 different companies are coming in for phases of it to get it done. So what we accomplished in just a week and a half normally takes 3 months with other companies. Wow. All because you stack the skills and the traits and the weaknesses accordingly to make it go fast.
So you're almost acting like a GC, a general contractor. You're just picking and choosing the teams that can fit within your time frames and getting it done there, instead of just have one GC using all their own main people and then waiting the course of the
So instead of a
ship.
GC that is like, I'm the builder, I control it all.
Yep.
I'm using the GC for elements, and then I hired a GC that's more of a project manager than a true full-on builder controlling it all.
So he's letting you help with filling the gaps and stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
And I get paid and he's getting paid.
Awesome.
On the project side. And so by having a powerhouse team together, it makes it where we can go, okay, we need a guy that can do this while simultaneously having a guy that does this and speed it through.
Yes.
And it helps when the team you've got together already has the strong reputation and already has all the connections with the muni and the fire department and all that stuff, to where everything's just a phone call, because we're all on cell phones. It's not like I had to find somebody and wait through the reception. It's like, hey, this is Cassandra, let's go. And you just go. So that helps. Like, for instance, when COVID kicked off, Governor Dunleavy called me and said, hey, we don't know how to reach the do-it-yourself landlords. You do through that community work that you've got. Can we use you to create the program and distribute the program and try to reduce the fraud? Obviously, it'll happen, but reduce the fraud. But then at the same time, figure out how to get it out. We were the first state with an application for all the stuff. We were the first state to dump all the cash.
Wow.
Out of all the 50 states for the COVID money, the rent relief and the homeowner relief. Yeah.
Well, Cassandra, so this series that we're doing in the podcast is called Leadership in Action. And all of these elements are like areas where you've stepped in and like decided that you were leading. So where did all of this come from? You like just decided that you were going to start this business because you had a passion, or something just drove you that you can't explain, and opportunities just kept knocking? And then you decided to clearly step into that, the landlord almanac. Like, that's an incredible tool for organizing the community. And it's like, it takes somebody willing to put the work in to get the ball rolling and create momentum.
It's one of those things where that's a really good question, because you sit there and go, well, skill set says this, resume says this, training says this. And then you sit there and go, yeah, what was the underlying passion that made these movements come through? There's a book, I'm trying to jog a memory on it right now, but there's a book, it was basically Taking the Time to Think. And it's interesting that you that you would want to reference to that, because what it is like, when you stop and go, hey, this is tapping on my shoulder that I can solve this thing, or I can contribute to this thing. And when you stop and just sit and think, next thing you know, you can be very intentional with your time, and you can be very intentional with, oh, this person's skill set and weakness is this. Let me just marriage it and make things go. And the next thing you know, you're making these huge waves and movements coming through. My husband and I, we love to joke about driving to Kenai. So we'll just get in the car and just drive to Kenai. You don't have a cell phone. You're just driving. And in that drive, you're sitting there going, well, what about this? Or, hey, I noticed so-and-so has this problem or this thing. Or, oh, I just realized she was saying this, but I was thinking she was saying this. When I come back, I'll redo my conversation with her to get her connected, right? And when you just take the time to think, all of a sudden you can see connections of the dots that you can make with the community or the church or the business or the next business or the whatever that you just want to be involved with. And when you step ego aside and you're just focused on giving back, contributing, pushing, empowering, and watching all the light bulbs click, and that's all you focus on, the wave is bigger than just sitting there, tapping yourself on the shoulder going, oh, here's who I am, because I'm not in the public very much. That's why not everybody knows who I am, because I'm in the background. And I'm okay with that, because I would rather watch people walking across the stage winning the awards and going, that moment happened, and watching the light bulb click. Those are cool. But I think everything contributes to the time to think. I started very young. My grandpa, he taught me at 14 years old. We were door knocking for rent checks and we were rehabbing roofs and all that kind of stuff. So that's the world that I know. But in that process, you learned, oh, the community is this and the people are this, and how can I put them together? And we ended up making a whole community of this middle class that didn't have an opportunity now have an opportunity, and watching what it did to their kids and where the buildings are now and who's now in the buildings, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If only houses could tell stories.
Oh, that'd be scary.
So, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
They could just have a storybook, before you put your key in, you can see the storybook of the
I think you'd have
building.
to put things on like this
It'd
one's
be like
PGGR accent. Like, oh, I went to here right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I was going to college, I was fascinated with organizational structure of businesses. So my degrees was all around organizational structure, study of Home Depot and the rise and fall and the greatest of the greats and the best of the best. Why did it go up and why did it go down? And a lot of it dealt with systems, managerial systems, but a chunk of it was all around the passion, the why, the purpose, the leadership, and the mix of the team, understanding the skill sets to mirror the two together. Because you need both, but if one's off, it creates a whole dynamic to slide off the rails.
Sure.
And make it not go forward anymore.
Exactly.
Well, it's like the ripple's not perfect across the pond.
No, and the ripple has to happen for
Does.
microorganisms to move.
Yep.
And to grow and to change and to evolve. Otherwise, it just becomes still water.
Yep. Stagnant.
I love what you said about taking time to think, because one of the philosophies that we have here when we're training leaders is we're creating a container here. We happen to be getting people in cars from point A to point B at BAC, or we happen to be doing ambulance transports for Alaska Medical Transport, or offering hospitality to a guest at a short-term rental. But at the end of it, we're creating a safe container for the people that are within our environment so that they then feel safe to open.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's where the growth starts to happen, is when you feel like, hey, I can relate with these humans. Like, I'm absolutely like, this is my jam here. Then you start opening up, you start sharing, there's a little more vulnerability, and then you're open to new ideas.
Yeah, because if you're like in your situation, it's not just a dude with another car that can drive someone somewhere. I mean, that's a taxi. How it's all the science and stuff around differentiators and everything. But really it goes all the way down to the core purpose of, hey, what's that experience? What's that drive? What is it that we can create and control as an environment? Mm-hmm. And then how can every tier in the business support that one concept? Whether you're just the register person or you're the person who cleans the car, all the facets that go into making that thing happen. How do you get them all to be on the same page, shucking and jiving with that concept? Because if you can get everyone to do it, then you blow up, which is kind of what you guys did. Is once, because I remember when you were starting just parking on the street, and that's when I first met you guys actually. And then now I see you guys and I'm like, holy cow, all because you focused in and then figured out how to get it within the systems. Yeah.
Well, and I think the cheer that we constantly are like rah-rahing is like, raise up is our core values. Yes, those
raise up to the challenge.
They spell the core values, but it's also the core values, because we're not just here serving customers. We're here lifting up everybody that we touch. Mm-hmm. And when you see that, it's like it's like something you can't unsee anymore. And I think that's why there's been some team members that maybe started out doing a CSA job or something, and they're like, oh, I got offered this other position, and then they come back and they like raise up into leadership eventually over time. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, I don't know what's happening here, but there's something, and it's not over here. Mm-hmm. And then we have others who leave and they're trying to like teach what they learned here in their other organizations, and I'm like, some of them, I'm like, I don't know if that concept is going to jive, but good luck. Go ahead. Yeah. Like, yes.
Well, have you ever read the E-Myth concept of the tiers from an organizational perspective, where you have like your technicians, your managers, and then your business owners, and everyone's just pressing the buttons to make the thing happen, right? You got your technician that's pressing the buttons to make sure the register is moving and the car is cleaned, and then you've got your managers who's pressing the buttons to make sure that the payroll's happening, and then you've got your salespeople and your service people to service and sales and do the accounting thing, and then you got the business owners making sure the lights stay on. and we save ourselves from ourselves sometimes. But that's just the task. Every business has those steps, those actions, those tasks.
Yes.
The thing that's different is that core. How do you get the mission, the values, the core, all the way through all the 3 different levels to where the customer feels it? So you kind of graduate when you start the business. Okay, I'm the guy who's pressing enter for making an invoice. Then you graduate to, I'm the guy that's pressing enter for all the payroll needs, and you're leading the guys underneath you to have that same vision and try to grow with you. Then when you go from management to the business owner, you now have to teach this one, to teach this one, to teach this one.
Yes.
And like the Maxwell books, they talk about how there's the 80% rule of everything you teach, and every time you hire, you lose 20% every time you go through the tier. That's why being so loud about the mission, the values, the culture, how to step up to solve the thing rather than just pressing a button like a robot. That's what makes a company move. That's what makes a company have a heart. And what happens is when someone tries to go somewhere else, they realize the heart is different, and they miss that heart. Either they inspire others, or they come back and want to push it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they come back.
Yeah, I think
they
we've seen
feel
quite a
it.
few of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think the culture is not the same. They go there and it might be a little bit more pay, it might be a little bit more something different, but when they get there, the culture is different and it's not the same. And so one of the biggest things we found out was when we did some surveys on it, money wasn't the most important thing for most people. It wasn't. It was having a voice and having to be heard and to have understanding and to be recognized. And we saw that. We saw that in there. And of course, money's in there. It's in the top 5, but it's definitely wasn't the most important, which I thought definitely would have been the most important.
Yeah, I think us that are in management or business ownership, we forget real quickly. We forget real quickly that connection, that it's not just dollars. Like I have a manager right now. She's a new manager. It's her first time being in management, and she has all the right answers. She has all the core values there. But what she's struggling with is, how do I teach, explain, have those conversations, inspire the next tier below? And it dawned on me that I was disconnected, because she came to me yesterday and she said, hey, I have this issue, and she's telling me the story, she's telling me the conversation, she's telling me all the details about this thing. I thought she was coming to me asking me how to press enter in that situation. So it's like, well, the answer is this. And finally she kept saying it over and over and over, and I realized, okay, apparently she's not needing help with pressing enter. Something else is going on. So I started asking her questions and deeply listening. Then I realized what was happening is, she saw the vision, she saw the mission, she also sees the button, but she couldn't figure out how to connect the 2 dots within the conversation to where that technician could come into the fold. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because what was happening is, the first time she approached that technician was, hey, press this enter really well. And they didn't press enter very well. They just did it like a robot, not with the passion, not with the culture. So she realized, oh, I got to teach it differently, with the passion, the mission, the culture, the inspiration, why behind that button matters, right? And she couldn't connect with them. So it's easy for us, when we're so far stepped away in our worlds, to forget that we have to teach them how to do those things so they can spread the news. And now we're having 5 people and not just 1 person.
Sure.
And I think that key is teaching them how to connect, because everybody needs something different. It's just like those of us who are parents. We love our children equally, but they all need different things because they have different personalities and different needs, and some are boys and some are girls. And so it's like, how can we take that same philosophy to the team that we work with every day and go, okay, well, this person, they've got this challenge. and they're in this role, and this person's got this challenge in this role. We're going to help them, not solve it, not rescue it, but assist them and sometimes guide. And it's two different things. Like, so it doesn't always make sense. The goal is to prevent the optics from looking like favoritism and being fair, just not always exact in what each person needs.
And then you're going through the dynamic while teaching them to grow, but teaching them how to talk with their coworkers so they can start doing it themselves instead of relying on us being in the conversation. It's funny because when I started the business, I went through this phase of massive growth, and then I went through this phase of imposter syndrome because I was like, oh, I'm just this technician. Why am I growing so much? And it kind of got away from me in the sense of like, how do I keep up with all this? It's all fast. I needed an accountant 6 days ago, and now it's 6 months later, and all the catching. Then you go through this. Once I got out of my own way of the whole imposter syndrome issue, then I was able to sit there and go, wait, I need to teach them how to talk to each other, not just me be the teacher, but make it where they teach each other. And when you said personalities, it reminded me of that period where I went through extensive training of, okay, here's this personality, here's this personality. This is why they didn't understand you. This is how you talk to them on their level to make it where you can communicate, and vice versa. Because when two people can realize the strengths and weaknesses of each other to start having the conversation, they can start solving things without us being involved.
Yeah, and
we can go focus on the next big thing.
Their answers are sometimes way more brilliant than ours,
Yes.
when they just open. And
because we're so A, B, and C, and D, we already know the answer, but they might have a better one.
For those of you listening, there are many techniques to try to crack this code. There are all kinds of personality tests and business tests, and some of them are even free online. And you could literally just Google search personality tests and land on a few of them and just start running the experiment in your own organization or with your team. It's very, a lot of them parallel each other, I've noticed too. So they have different names, but it's oh, I'm a red and I'm a blue, or I'm an A and I'm a J, or I'm an EC, whatever, and it's but at the end of the day, they're kind of demonstrating a similar parallel. And so I don't really think there was any that I looked at that I was oh, well, this is the one. It's just whatever speaks to you. And once you start doing that, you're oh, they're really not an a-hole. They just need it explained this way. And when their coworker says that, and you're well, yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know that you didn't know that. We have one team member that came to work for us years ago, and he has a very strong accent. And sometimes it can be perceived as he's being harsh. And we had a really great explanation for it. It's he's not angry. He's just he's Polish. He's very forward in his communication. And they're oh, yeah. I'm that's how he talks all the time. It's that's it. And they're oh, and it totally reframed the situation.
A lot of times we just don't answer the phone and let them figure it out. They'll call us and we know that they're calling us for a problem. And we won't take the phone call for 5 minutes, and then we'll call back in 5 minutes and say, hey, I just missed your phone call. I'm so sorry. It's oh, we got it all figured out. Oh, okay, that's great. What happened? Oh, this and this. Oh, so what did you guys do? And they'll tell us the answer. I'm okay, that's great. But we'll know that they're struggling with something, but they know that we'll figure it out for them really quick. But it's not our object to figure it out for them all the time. It's when they get super stuck, I say call us and ask us, but try to come up with a solution for it. Come up with 2 or 3 solutions and come up with it and see how those play them out in your head and see what would be the best one you think that we'd make. And then it usually they figure it out.
Yeah. That is the easiest 101 trick in the book that we should all be introduced to when we take the position going from management up, because we all want to jump in and solve it for them thinking that's the answer. But most of the time the answer is sit back and let them hash it out.
Sure.
Because you're getting the ideas, the inspiration, the motivation, and then you're also making it where you can see their strengths and weaknesses in problem solving. So when the whole thing's done, you can swing back around and say, here's what could have helped you get to the solution faster. Here's how you could have communicated a little differently. Or, hey, here's this book on conflict resolution that you might want to consider. Here's a YouTube for tonight's study. Because then you can push them just a little bit more to speed it, to gain that momentum. That is what inspires them to want to do more for you and want to do more for the customers because they feel heard on just not how to press enter well level.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's where that like foundation of we're creating a safe space, because if they don't feel safe, you have no feedback loop with
No.
them at
When
all.
you have no feedback going on with that person, that team, that department, that anything, you're in trouble. Something's wrong. Because a company loses its soul when you don't have that double side of the conversation. Otherwise, you're just another company that has a sales team, a service team, and a back office team. We all have one of those.
Yes.
Find me a river. Are we all the same? But the people is what makes it move and different.
Sure.
So if there's no feedback, it's not going.
Absolutely. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. Amy said you had to leave by like 2:00?
It changed, so I'm good for you.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, it adjusted because this meeting and this meeting moved. So,
Oh,
Perfect.
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out. So
Well,
whatever you need.
I'm curious, is there any like in your leadership background, was there any like one mentor that you had that just really like lit that fire of I'm going to do this, or was there something that you just remember back in your history of growth that you were like, this really impacted me and I use this on a regular, or I share this resource with others?
For me, I'm a person who loves learning and loves grabbing as much knowledge as I can. So it wasn't one person, one turning point, one anything, or one event. For me, it was, oh, this person's got this thing down that I really want to learn. And then what happened is I'm such a curious person and I just want to learn that I started having, okay, this person's going to be my mentor. This person's going to teach me this person's going to teach me that. And I just kept coming back to them, asking for more. And what's so funny is in the beginning, I was scared to talk to people. I was scared to go to another business and say, hi, I'm Cassandra. Tell me what you do. Oh, you're the business owner. Oh, that's so amazing. And then I want to leave because I'm scared. But I'm an extreme introvert. But my curiosity to learn and listen and grow from others, because I started in my 20s. And because I started so young, I knew nothing. So asking everyone and talking to everyone and just letting curiosity be there and having the courage to just talk. You'd be surprised how many other business owners, how many other managers are just wanting to blurt everything they know to help.
Yes.
And so for me, I had my first manager gave me this paperweight, and it says, imagine what you could do if you didn't fail. And that comment made it to where I had the courage to keep asking, talking, reading, reaching out, going to anything that, like, for instance, if I was following this company because I wanted to talk to so-and-so, I would go find what events they're going to, hit those events just to get my 2 seconds with them, to maybe get a meeting for them to inspire me on something.
Right.
That's what got me to where I am today. It's not one thing. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get lost, is they think, oh, if I have the magic book or the magic podcast or the magic mentor, everything will be better.
Oh.
But no, it's the constant desire to grow, to learn, to be more than today, the constant curiosity. That's what makes the movement happen.
And I love how you explained it's about the journey and staying just curious.
Yeah.
And that curiosity as a way of just keeping us open enough to where we can start to receive. And then when we really start figuring out how the game is played, it's like, bring it on. And then how can we help others? So
I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk. He does a ton of videos for small businesses and those guys that are just doing lots of startups in the marketing world more than anything. He made several podcasts. He went on this spill for 6 months around realizing. He went on this spill for 6 months, and it was all about. It's not about the business, it's about the employees. It's not about the business, it's about the customers. It's not about all these things you think business is about, and having the courage to just soak it all up and get it going. He was very inspirational in getting over the fears because he was a video that you could watch,
Absolutely. And listening to you today, like I realized that you have labeled yourself an introvert, but you couldn't tell. I mean, this is the first time that we're meeting you, and it's been a delightful conversation.
Yeah, now I can speak in front of crowds of 500 people. I do that frequently, and now I'm okay. But it's because you anchor in that moment. Imagine what you could say or do or who you can inspire if you weren't going to fail, and you're not going to fail, because even if you do make a mistake, the mistake is just growing and learning. It's not a mistake.
Sure.
It's funny because in school you learn mistakes are like
Bad.
fail, start the whole grade over, you lost the whole year. No, mistakes is that means
It's
you
growth.
have so much more to learn and so much more to enjoy.
Absolutely. And it's like we don't actually use the word failure here. We use the term unintended outcomes.
Yeah.
Like we had this intended outcome and that was not it. And
Yeah.
so how do we like turn away from that unintended outcome? But it softens it in a way, not from like this, like, oh, we're cushioning you. It's more of like, actually, that's all it is.
Mhm.
It's an unintended outcome. Let's not do that again.
Mhm.
And what are we going to do next time?
I remember an employee made a mistake, and the mistake was pretty costly. It cost around $8,000, and at the time, that's like a couple rent checks, right? And they came to me, and they finally had the courage to come to me to say the mistake, which I was very proud that they finally did. I didn't just find it. And then they said, here's what I did. Here's where I went wrong. Here's how much it costs. Here's what I tried to do to make up for it. And they were ready for me to fire, and they sat down and said, what's my punishment? They literally packed their bags thinking I was going to fire. And I said, oh my gosh, this is an amazing $8,000 training lesson. I love it. No one in the company will ever do that again. Isn't this great? And I rewarded it. And now everyone in the culture of the company will sit there and say, no, you fess up. Let's solve it together. Let's work together.
Yes.
It's an unintended consequence. We didn't mean it to go that way. How can I keep changing the conversation or the path of it? That is what makes conflict resolution happen within the team.
Agreed. And deciding that you're just going to stand in your own integrity. And that's the I in Raise Up is integrity. And what I explain to the team is, especially the new members coming in, is like integrity isn't about being honest. Like some people can tag that to it and that's fine. But it's about being who you are. And a practical example of that is don't volunteer for a day shift if you're a night owl. Like just be in your integrity.
Mhm.
And part of that too is none of us feel good when we have something that we're hiding or it needs to come out for a reason. And it's because it's meant to. And in the right hands, like the situation you just described, it's like it's celebrated as, yes, you did the right thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. Like, this is a story I'm going to use forever, and it gives people permission to be who they are
Mhm.
and to not be in this like unrealistic definition of perfection.
Mhm.
That's another thing that I've kind of shifted. I'm like, when you look up the word perfect in the dictionary, there's like all these definitions, but my favorite is the best that it can be right now. And when it's the best it can be right now, sometimes there's shades of gray of perfect.
I think a lot of people fall into the trap worrying about being judged over a decision that they make, right? And so as a result, it makes them overthink or underthink or try to delay thinking about the thing because they're worried about the judgment that's going to happen from making that decision of something. But the reality is that having the courage to do it is a skill set, it is a trait, it is a form of leadership. Having the ability to realize that in that moment, this was the world of my decision that caused the decision that I'm making. Nobody knows what was on your plate when you made that decision. They don't know that you did or didn't have whatever. And obviously, if you had this at your resource, you could have made that decision. But we don't always have that. So people will fall into the trap of worrying about being judged rather than just saying, here's the tools I have and here's the best I can do in this moment. And
Yes.
That is perfect enough.
Yes.
That is the best. And that's okay. And that's what makes movement happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it brings this authentic element to the situation and people start to step into the like moments of vulnerability, and you really get to know who's in front of you. And when that happens, then they decide, like, you see what they really want, and you can be part of that dream. And that, I think, is probably one of the greatest like rewards of being a leader, is when you are helping others achieve their dreams. Yes. Well, we're so grateful that you came to like share this time with us. And if anybody that's listening, they have questions about maybe something that you said, like, how can people find you online?
Yes.
The best way is to reach me through my the main company I do a lot of talking through, which is Cassandra at Real Property Management. I'm sorry.
We'll cut it out. Go ahead and start it over.
I don't even know why I mixed two together in my head, but I did. The best way to reach out to me is through my email. It's Cassandra@rpmlastfrontier.com, and I monitor my email better than my text messages.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, hard, but impressive. That's the best way to reach out to me, and I'll be glad to talk, entertain, questions, thoughts, ideas. I love talking leadership, business growth, business anything.
We can tell you really have some great stories.
You just glow when you do it.
I'm always learning something when I'm here. So
Sure.
I always want to participate.
So good. Well, and then what about that landlord almanac? Like, if somebody local's listening, like, how would we like get involved in that?
One of the things that I love about the Landlord's Almanac is it's for landlords, by landlords, all around landlords. And so that is my little social club I love to talk to. And we have locally here in Anchorage, we have over 5,000 landlords in the group. And it's all being done by Facebook, which is the Landlord's Almanac /Alaska. And it's a private Facebook group. And that's where they all socialize and talk, and we make events to go hang out and solve problems.
Great. Is that open up to the public? Can anybody get on that, or do you have to be a landlord owner, or what's the qualifications?
It's so what I do is it does have those questions
Sure.
to answer to join, and I'm only letting landlords in the group.
Okay.
The reason why is because it helps with the conversation.
Sure.
When you get a
Absolutely.
Doesn't get derailed.
It gets derailed. It's a distraction. It's not a place to post something for sale. It's not a place to post something for rent. It's a place where landlords, by landlords, with landlords, can have any landlord type conversation, whether they're short Airbnbs, assisted livings, commercial, residential, long term. I even got people in there that have sober living houses where they rent houses to different types of people that are in sober phases.
Sure.
Or different groups. There's even churches that own buildings that are in there that they use it to facilitate for their members. So it's all kinds of stuff.
Sounds like a great page.
So some of the topics are, hey, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in South Anchorage, or is it more like, hey, this happened in the house? Like, has this ever happened to you guys?
It's not a situation where I need to announce a rent increase because of this happens. How are you handling rent increases besides just serving the notice?
Makes sense.
What can I do to lead the tenant?
It's a topics page.
The vacancy.
That sounds great. Well,
It's a peer group between other,
Peer group setup.
Yep.
it's nice.